5-second intro. Ready, set, go. What's up, guys? It's Jeff Garrido. This is Flip Report. I got news for you today. I'm going to talk to Nate Weston about Skull Chatter. We got a new intro coming right up right now. Check it out. Oh, I did it. All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you enjoyed that new intro. I know Pavel worked really hard on it, and he really wanted you guys to see it. I wish you could see his face. He's so happy I pointed him out. No, it is really cool. Couple new things today. Obviously, our mic stand is gone because I'm going to be having a special guest on. Nate Weston is going to be here. I'm going to ask him some questions about his upcoming parkour film. It's called Skull Chatter. I know he's been working hard on this. I can't wait to kind of hear about it. I actually don't know that much, so you guys are learning about it as I will be. Pretty cool. First, though, a little bit of news for you guys. Nothing too crazy, but looks like Christian Kowalewski is running a competition in Poland with the money that he won from the Fight or Flight Academy competition that he ended up taking first place in. He said he was going to do it, and it looks like he's following through with his word. He's got a Polish competition going on right now, and then I think eventually he's going to do an international version of it, and I know some of that prize money is coming straight out of his pocket, so pretty cool, Christian. Can't wait to see the lines that are thrown into that one. Next up, kind of a cool thing from Modus Projects. They just announced that they're going to be having a flow team, and if you guys don't know, kind of like in skateboarding, there's a pro team. Those are like directly sponsored athletes that get paid to be an athlete and do video parts and such like that. And then there's kind of a flow team that I guess it's almost more like an internship. They get support from Modus, but maybe not in the form of like a direct paycheck. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but more so it's like a boost for them. They get promotion through Modus. Obviously, they'll probably help them with some travel, video parts, media, anything the brand can do for them while they're doing stuff for Modus to help promote it, but maybe less of like an actual pro sponsorship type deal. You'll have to probably check in with Giles on all that. He said a big spiel about it in his stories. That's kind of it for my news today. Let's bring in Nate Weston. See you make way around. No. And this is What's up, man?
Appreciate it. Yo, what's up?
So we're gonna be talking about Skull Chatter, your new video.
Yep.
I'm actually super stoked. Soul Destroyer kind of kicked off this new like refound vibes for like video projects. So yeah, I got my little list of questions. Let's just jump right in, dude.
Dude, let's do it. I'd love to.
So I know this is weird because like you're trying to keep this like sort of under wraps, yeah?
Pretty much, yeah.
So I don't want to ask too much, but there's also so much I want to know. So my questions are pretty vague. Just give me whatever you feel like telling, I guess. So let's just start with the fact that it's called Skull Chatter.
Yeah.
Can you explain the name?
It's a pretty long story, but I'll try and kind of like dumb it down a little bit. But basically, at the start of this year, I was having like a bit of a rough time. Just like I was really having negative thoughts, and things just like didn't seem like they were like working out in the way that I'd like foreseen, and my expectations kind of were like ruining my reality in a way. And I always started like, in the past I've been able to like, get through those kind of like mental kind of like hiccups with training, but then recently it started like affecting training, and I couldn't actually like feel good training either. So it was just like, I felt like shit all the time. And so I like really started like diving deep into like why that was happening, and started listening to Alan Watts, and he had this little like pretty famous quote, and he was talking about overthinking and like phrased it as chatter in the skull. And I just heard that and was like, dude, that's a title.
Yeah,
dude, it's a perfect representation of like this whole year for me as a film, as a like a emotion and everything. It's just, it really hits the note perfectly.
So were you looking for like a title before you heard that, or did
I had some I had some
ideas,
but like once I heard that, all the other ideas just went out the window, and that one was like, I'm doing this Skull Chatter, and that's gonna be the one.
and that just fit because this project is about you breaking that Skull Chatter.
Yeah, and kind of diving in deeper into the reasoning behind training and like what my motivations are. And I think it's really special to think about how every athlete is different and their mentalities are different, and not one mentality is the same across the board. And so you'll find different ways of training and different ways of working up to certain challenges. And, in my situation, I was really annoyed and worried that I was like, seeing everyone else like do really well and like things were going great, and I'm just like in this ditch, it felt like. But really it was just me thinking that, and it wasn't really that much of a reality.
That's so funny you say that, because like Literally I think literally the same time that you were going through this, like me too. Which
Really?
is why like one of the reasons I started like Flip Report and I've just been like mountain biking and stuff is to like get myself out of that ditch. Like I guess your method was kind of almost going further into the ditch, like pushing yourself into this video part and like whereas like I kind of just removed myself for a bit. So
I mean, there's not, but again, there's like nothing wrong with taking time off either. Like there's this weird stigma of like I should be doing this because others are doing it. It's like really no, like do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And like don't have any second thoughts because that's where that second thought and that like your overthinking just like comes in and it just like screws everything up.
Right.
It's
Right.
Like, what the
and
hell?
I'm just trying to find that natural like moving because I want to sort of thing. Not
yeah,
like
exactly.
To,
not having like these crazy expectations that if I don't hit this, then I'm not stoked. It's like, nah, dude, like, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. You were talking a little bit about your process for conquering these new moves and stuff. So I want to kind of talk about the process a little bit.
Yeah.
But more so like the video as a whole. Like what was the process there? Like who all is behind the production so far?
So the person who's behind the main part of the production, dude, my words, fucking hell.
Start over from wherever.
Yeah, the main guy behind the camera is Kent Johns. We recently, I just got back from a month and a half long road trip with him, and that's where like the meat of the video got filmed. But this whole video started off back in February, and I got this one move I will not say yet, but so we got it filmed and it got it done. And the moment I did it, I'm like, all right, this is the start of it. I'm holding on to clips, and so that was 7 months ago.
Yeah, okay.
But we got like we got Kent Johns, we got Julian as well, we got Ryan Kelly, we got Oliver, my homie.
Sick, yeah.
Just a bunch of people, and Nico as well. But yeah, it's not like one person.
That's cool. Kind of not a question I plan on asking, but now that you say it, I'm gonna ask. Like, do you think having people, so many different people, because I know none of those people are like from one area.
No.
Like, I mean that's kind of from all over. Like, do you think that helped, like that dynamic range of people? Do you think that really helped with any sort of outcome?
Yeah, I mean, it opens the door for more possibilities, I think, because if you kind of like stay in the same situation or same environment with like whoever you're hanging out with and stuff, you kind of like are closing the door to what may come up as an idea, and like each one of those people have different ideas and different views on a spot, and so you get like these different inspirations from like, oh, like they're doing this here, like you can play off of that, and if it's like changing up like between like 5 or 6 people, it's a really cool kind of way to like conceptualize new lines and stuff. But yeah, it's been great. It's been super fun.
Were all those people there kind of at one time, or was it like
no,
throughout the process?
It was
have different
groups throughout the whole process. It was like sometimes like different people.
But Kent Johns was there pretty much the whole time.
Pretty much the whole time, but that was like this past month. But so yeah, it's like I did that thing in February, and then I was like, all right, we're gonna hold on the clips and like really start filming. I thought we were gonna jump into filming like right away. And then COVID hit, and it was just like nothing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what the heck? Like, so I'm just have to wait for a long time. And even up until like August, which is when we started the road trip, we really didn't have that much filmed. It was just like a handful of clips that I was super stoked on, and like some other B-roll kind of stuff. And I was like, dude, we got to get going. And we really did get going. And
so you said it took like since February, like about 7 months or so, but in reality,
it like mainly really got filmed the past past like month and a half was like where the majority of the clips got filmed.
So explain to me too. So you went on this road trip per se.
Yep.
Was it pretty much like you just hitting spots and getting clips with this gang of people behind you, or was it like you would just, as you went and jammed in different places, you would start getting? Does that make sense? Like, like I'm wondering, did everybody kind of join up with you with the sole purpose of just like following you around to film clips, or was it kind of like?
Not really. No, I mean, also with COVID, we were trying to kind of like stay sort of low key. Like we hit up, we started in Seattle and ended up in LA, hitting through all like the Midwest and stuff. But like mainly it was just me and Kent and maybe like a few others. But it was never something that we were like, yo, we're like in town. Like, does anyone want to come meet up? It was just kind of like close homies. And didn't want to be too like extravagant in like the numbers of the gathering at least. But yeah, Kent was like that. It was really good to have Kent around because he was always there with the camera filming. So it was like never like a moment of like, oh, I don't know who to film. It was just like boom, we're there. Like it's perfect. Like we got it all done.
Would you guys like wake up with the idea to go to a spot and get something, or was it like we're just gonna go train, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna hang out? That when you found
so like I guess going back to like the overthinking and like expectations, how it kind of like can throw you in a bit of a circle and like ruin moments. Not ruin, but just like make things not as like fun. And so throughout the process of like filming when on the road trip with Kent, like we never had the intention of like, we're going to go out and get like the baddest fucking line. We're not going to like, we're going to, you know, the whole idea of the filming was to just enjoy the moment for what it is and not for what it should have been or should be. Because like once you get down that rabbit hole, it just is like, it just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
it feels
yeah,
like.
yeah.
So everything that we did in the video, it was like, you know, there's always these kind of moments of like, are we sure we want to do this? Like, is it safe for like certain like height challenges and stuff? But it was never like a question of like, you know, this is the right decision.
Yeah.
But and ultimately, I mean, the thing I'm most proud of is just like, it was like the most fun I've had in so long.
Yes, dude.
So that's the thing that makes me the most stoked,
that makes me
honestly.
stoked to hear too. Like I said, as somebody who's also kind of in this weird rut, like that just having fun is what's kind of working.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't matter like what it is, like as long as you're having fun and really like enjoying in like the moment and really in the moment, like the quality of movement or like what you actually do isn't like less because of that.
Right.
It's like it actually has the opposite effect.
Yeah.
I found. But when I like have these expectations and being like, oh, I need to like, you know, we haven't filmed in a week because we're having fun camping and just doing stuff. I noticed the thought coming in like, we haven't gotten anything.
Well, because it feels like you're not doing anything
exactly.
when you're having fun sometimes. Like,
yeah.
Right? And,
like, and so like that mindset, like literally like already just like pulls you back like a few steps. Oh, like now I'm like actually more incapable of getting anything, which is so weird. So the biggest thing, which I'm super stoked on, I mean, me and Kent both agreed, like the main focus is to film, obviously. But like on top of that, we want to have fun and enjoy it for what it is. Because like we're on a road trip, we're not stuck at home in quarantine. Like that's the point.
I kind of have a follow-up question, I guess, to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I want to get into this first. Like, oh man, should I ask this big question? It's very vague, but I have like questions inside of this question. But basically, what can we expect?
Ooh, yeah,
like
it's still pretty rough. The process of like, you know, getting everything sorted with the project. Like you said, it's a film. I'm not sure it's going to be any more than like 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay, that's getting to my later question. Sweet.
But like
is there dangerous shit? Is it flowy lines? Is it massive PK stuff?
It has everything.
Hinge free running? So it's a mix of all.
It has everything.
Everything.
It literally.
Sick.
And I don't want to like hype it up for anything that it isn't.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it's like my best well-rounded video of all time. And that's like what makes me stoked too, is just to see like the way that my training's been going, and I've always wanted to get to this point, and now that it's here, it's like, wow, it's like here, and now I can like enjoy it and keep, you know, pushing that and keep training and having fun just having fun. But yeah.
Is there any? So this is the question I was gonna ask earlier. It kind of mixes in with this. So you said it's a mix of everything. So obviously there was like some really difficult mental challenges.
Yep.
Dangerous stuff at heights.
Yep.
Really hard free running moves. Was there anything aside from like the really hard accomplished shit that you got while having fun that almost became like your favorite bits? Like I know, for example, in the past, like I've gone and done videos and like I got a really hard line, but then when I watched the video later, like my favorite line in the video ended up being something that it was just like a fun moment, or just like something that was kind of offhand that happened, and I'm like, man, I really enjoyed that, even though this is sick, like the really hard line is sick.
Yeah.
Like this is almost my favorite piece because it was like more fun. Like is there anything like that in this project or any moments that happen where you're like, man, I can't wait, I'm almost looking forward to this more than I am like, you know, something hard, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the like trick in February was like the fucking like the peak. This, like I was so stoked. But obviously like the road trip was just like so much fun throughout the whole thing. Like, you know, and I think honestly, like I find enjoyment looking back on the moments that actually were harder because it brought because the following thing that happened was almost like so much better because of it. It was like we had like a few days of just being like, oh, like super tired. Like it's like, you know, nothing's going wrong. It's just like you just feel kind of over it maybe. But then like you kind of maybe a little bit slow and like you're not like getting the clips that you want maybe. But like once you get that thing and you like find it and you're like, oh my gosh, like yes.
Reignites the hype.
Yeah, it like makes like all that, you know, time of like struggle like so much more worth it. Because if it was all like, oh, this is great, this is fun, like all the time, you would never like actually appreciate it. And I remember like very distinctly at the end of the trip, we had a week in San Diego. or Oceanside and San Diego. But
Davis.
Yeah, with Davis, and we were staying with him. And again, it was amazing. Like, it was so much fun. But it wasn't like following, or like it wasn't in line with my expectations of like how it was going to end. Like, I expected it to be kind of like a finale, like we're going to get some sort of like, last thing or whatever.
And you're like, no, it's capped.
And then the whole week it was like super slow, and like it was really hard to find stuff, and I was like getting annoyed at myself, and I was like, dude, this is not how I want to end the trip. Like, what? Like, this is crazy. And then it honestly ended in the best way possible, where it was like we were always throughout the whole road trip we were looking for this one thing and to put it in a line. And then at the end of the trip, when we like the last day, Kent flies out the next morning, like we just like, let's just go train at this one school, like just go casually, like move around, because we haven't really done that much today. And like we found it, and it was just like, once we got it, it was just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, that's why like that whole week was like that, because like this one moment of just like, just in the moment stoked.
It almost feels like there's some sort of like divine like energy that like planned that. Dude, almost, you know what I mean? That's
I know it feels like that when I think about it, and I'm like, in the moment you're like, this is it, and oh yeah, and that's what I hope people kind of take from it. It's like less about the achievements themselves, but it's more about like the meaning behind it, and like like feeling of like the person doing it. Like, when it comes down to it, if someone's like the best at what they do, it's sick, but like there has to be some backstory to like, I don't know, make me appreciate it even more. I don't know. It's not just the movement. It's like behind the meaning behind it and everything else.
And I think that really helps like a lot of athletes too, like maybe who feel like they're not at like a certain level.
Well, it's really easy to get like, what am I trying to say? It's really easy to get like unmotivated. For like if you're like comparing yourself to others, you're like, oh, my skill level is like way down here, and this person's like way up there. It's like it's sick to see that like you could have the mentality of like just trusting the process and like just taking one step at a time. Like the fact that you're like sitting there like wishing you were something else is already time wasted, and you might as well just keep kind of taking some steps and enjoying it. And if you do that properly, like, and you'll honestly end up like where that person is, no matter what, like in the end of the day, as long as you just kind of keep going at it and like just enjoying it. 'Cause that's the point. Yeah.
So this kind of goes with my next question as well. But also ties in with that. Like, fuck, what am I trying to say here? So like you're saying, like having people be able to know that you like kind of have a process too. Like you trust the process, as you said, like, because with videos, a lot of times you see the outcome and you like, I don't know, with skate videos for the longest time, I didn't even know that it took pros like a million tries to get a trick. You know what I mean? Like, watch it back in the day when I was younger skating, I was like I have to be good enough to do all this first try someday. Yeah. And you don't realize that there's a million tries behind it, and like that they went through all these processes and times where they felt like maybe they were in a slump, this kind of thing. So, and again, I think that a lot of people like to relate to that and can help a lot of people. So in line with my next question is, what kind of video is this? Like, what's the style? Like, are we going to see the road trip and like B-roll and some process and downtime, or is it mostly action? Like, what's going to be in here?
Yeah, I guess we're still in the phase of like editing and making sure figuring it all out. Ideally I want to have different sections of the video for different parts of like what I'm saying, like, having like achievements in certain parts, and then having like kind of like B-roll-y kind of camping and like road trip stuff. But then I'll and then have it end with like a good, like, on a good note. But again, it's like, the edit's pretty up in the air still. And we have like, pretty sure the release date is going to be in sometime in November, mid-November. So we have enough time to just kind of like figure everything out. But as of right now, it's pretty like,
so you don't know if it's going to be a documentary or a...
Not really, yeah. No, we're still figuring that out.
All right.
But yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's all up in the air, but there's always possibilities. So yeah, I'm stoked.
All right, so out of these questions, I've got a little bit more advice and insight from you than I expected. I was almost wanting to like, I don't know. I guess that's fine because we can't show clips of the video.
Yeah,
we're trying to keep it
under wraps. We don't have a trailer or anything.
I don't want to give away any of the
poster,
moves. I don't want to give away anything really. I think it's trying to be under wraps, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
it'll all be out soon.
We've already sort of answered this. Yeah. But my last question is there anything you've learned or discovered from this project, or like while working on this project? And is there anything that you kind of have a takeaway on that you want to share to others? I know you've already kind of been talking about it a little bit, but what's, I guess, like after standing on the other side of this video project,
Yeah.
is there anything you want to share to people or advice you want to give or anything that you just want to talk about that you learned?
I mean, again, yeah, it's like I'm obviously super stoked about how my training is, but the biggest learning experience I got from this trip and from this whole year and Skull Chatter as a project is just learning to cope with thoughts of mine and kind of learn how to go with it. I don't know how to say it. I'll have to re-scrap
That's
that.
fine. You can.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I took away from Skull Chatter as a project was just to fully enjoy the moment for what it is and to understand myself and what my brain kind of is like thinking and stuff. And not overthinking, because I think it's really easy to kind of get in this rut. And I definitely learned a lot about myself this year and during the trip and filming this whole project, and realizing that it's not about the achievements, but it's about like stoked and just having fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, just having fun, man. Like,
Yeah, it's sick. I mean,
know.
it sounds to me that like for anybody that's in a rut or still progressing and maybe feeling a little bit down on themselves, that just like just have fun, and maybe that won't take you to a video project that where you start applying your like, oh, just have fun and be in the moment, but it could lead you to something else, anything. Who knows? Maybe it's just traveling and not filming it or whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just like understanding yourself. Like everyone's different. Everyone has different ways of coping with things. And I definitely noticed with myself, I get in my head really easily. Like it's like the slightest thing. And
but
I'll
you
like
wouldn't know. You really would not know looking at Nate Weston.
Yeah, I know. But like, yeah, that's the thing though, is like, I want to bring that to light. It was where it's like, I actually like overthink a lot of things. And like when I'm training, things are thought of so much beforehand. Then you see the final product, you're like, oh, you must not like, it's just natural. But it's like really like, I'm in my head like 90% of the time, I think.
Oh yeah, same.
And it's just a matter, and that's what I want to like talk about, and I think people should talk about, because like everyone's different. Again, like some people are just like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go, and it's gonna be great. And I definitely have to like get some time in to like really like think about stuff, but also not think about things too much, because then it gets to the point of just being like crazy.
Becomes just this whirlwind of, it just makes you freeze up if you think about anything.
It literally just paralyzes you, full of fear. Like that's how
I
at first when I thought about the tour and I was like planning it out, I'm like, dude, I'm like, I don't know if I'm like gonna be able to do this in a way. But then it was just like, oh no, like what? Like I've traveled before. Like just go to one stop at a time. Like don't worry about the whole thing, because if you do, then you're just gonna just get paralyzed by fear. And
just focus on the good. Like you're with friends, you're gonna be free.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Like
just keep it simple.
Literally just like focus on the good things. Yeah.
So are you hoping that the final edit kind of reflects all that?
Yeah, I'm hoping that it like kind of reveals the way that I deal with thoughts and the way that I deal with stuff in my training, and to just like talk about thinking. Like I don't know, like Skull Chatter. It's just a way of like conducting yourself. But yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know about
Sick.
that. That one was a bit
Sick.
bit off.
No, it's fine. It's fine. All right, cool. I mean, other than that, my last thing is just give us the details. Give them the details. Release date. How much? What? Like what's the runtime? Just anything. Any details about this that you want them to know before it comes out.
Yeah, we're looking for release date of about like mid-November, and we're gonna have clothing and like posters and stuff as well.
Didn't know that.
So we're gonna have that all going with it. So it's like a big full-on project.
Nice.
And I think a photo book as well. So we're gonna
shit.
keep it all going. But yeah, all is up in the air still, but
sick.
It's exciting. I'm super stoked. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everything that comes out on this. Nate's on Team Tempest with me, and he's insane. I've always looked up to his movement. It's cool to get some insight on this process, insight on video projects as a whole. Hopefully this kind of helps some of you guys, and just be on the lookout for more info on Skull Chatter, and we'll hopefully see you guys in November for the release of that thing.
Yeah.
And this is it for Flip Report today. That's it. Nate Weston, Jeff Garrido. Peace out, guys. See you later.